I don't know what the Leafs do. Jack Campbell's undefeated, but now they have Reimer. Oh my God, did they? April Fools! Well, now I feel bad. Let's go! Why not? The Toronto Maple Leafs! I guess my brand is a yell and scream. I don't script these. Are the Leafs all right? So what you get is from the heart. Welcome to LFR. Victory, puppies, buddy! Catch this if Jack Campbell's undefeated. Hey, oh, that was good! Leafs win! 3-1 over the Winnipeg Jets. Man, boring games hit different when you win them. And listen, hey, everybody watching this right now, we're gonna have a good time today. So let's talk about a big Leaf win and see if we can't put a smile on that face. Or at very least, you'll do that laugh where you like breathe out of your nose a little faster. And don't forget to drink your water. Yeah, it's a podcast day too. So let's talk about that game. Now this season has a condensed schedule, so there's like 4 games a week almost every week. And on top of that, you can only play teams in your division, and the Leafs happen to be in the smallest division. So sometimes you lose sight of the big games, but this was a huge game. Because the Leafs do have a game in hand on the Jets, but if the Jets come away with the win in this one, they take sole possession of first place in Canada. If the Leafs win, they're 3 points clear. Not to mention, this is the first game in a 4-game road trip, and Frederik Andersen isn't even with the team. And at the time I'm shooting this anyway, we can confidently say Jack Campbell is not 100%. He's obviously good enough to play because he's a starter in this one, but he's probably not 100. And in the last series that the Leafs and Jets played, the Jets did a pretty good job of tugging on Superman's cape. So what'll we get tonight? With that in mind, they drop the puck and the Leafs come out flying. And less than 5 minutes in, the Winnipeg Jets, and specifically Pierre-Luc Dubois, have a very bad time. Austin Matthews, he enters the zone, he's stopped up by Derek Forbort, and there's lots of support. Dubois takes the puck and he tries to break out with it, but folks, take a look at this picture, you're not gonna believe it. This resulted in a goal. Marner knocks the puck to Matthews, who continues up the wall, not pictured in that photo I just showed you, Zach Hyman, who is deeper in the zone. Matthews hands it off to Hyman, and now he's wide open with a choice. Do I try to get it to Marner or take it in myself? And he decides to take it in himself, which I thought was the right choice until you see this. Pierre-Luc Dubois flying in. Now, Pierre-Luc Dubois, there's been a lot of things attached to his name. #1 center, he can be a point producer, but he was so like underrated greasy in that 5-game series against Columbus. And I know Hyman's concentrating on scoring here, but he needs to focus on not getting beamed. Turns out he was focusing on that too, because he makes a move and Pierre-Luc Dubois accidentally lights up his own teammate Derek Forbort. So now Dubois out of the play, Forbort's down on the ice, Hyman with the backhand that's stopped by Hellebuck, Austin Matthews gets the rebound, scores! And watching it in real time, I'm like, hey, why is that guy down? This is how dangerous hockey is, man. I was watching it home from my couch and I was puck watching. Hooray, my team scored! Oh, good heavens, what happened to that fine individual? And this is why I make videos. That and I suck at skating and most other athletic things. But I can do funny voices, so that's something. Now, any Jets fans watching this, I just want to pull you on something. So I watched this replay many times, and there are lots of things to concentrate on, obviously, that I missed in real time. Hyman almost getting clocked by Dubois, Dubois hitting Forbort, and that was very distracting. What is Blake Wheeler doing? And you might look at the screen grab and go, well, I mean, he's got 2 guys in the slot to deal with, Hyman and Matthews, while one guy is out of the play and another guy is down on the ice. But you gotta look at the whole play. Just from the turnover Marner creates onwards, he bad body language, looking up, he floats backwards slowly, and he just gets his clock clean by Matthews, who just lifts his stick easily. I don't know, I know it's a weird play, you're not gonna clock your own defenseman very often, but that's just not good enough from your captain. But now the Leafs coming out of their slump here. When they were slumping though, they were allowing the first goal of the game a lot. Now they have the 1-0 lead, 4:40 in. Forbort, by the way, would leave the game briefly, but he played 19-20 minutes. Good for him to battle. Then the controversy starts. As many of you tweeted me when the lineup was announced, Zachary back on the attackery, playing with Matthews and Marner. And that line gets right back to work. That line deep in the Leaf zone. Matthews behind the net, but Scheifele's taking the puck away from him. The more I watch the replay, the more I think Matthews actually poked the puck up the board. Hyman keeps it in the scrum. Matthews jumps back into the fray to whack the puck to Marner, who's now streaking through the slot. He almost has a wide open shot, but the puck is in his feet, so he finds a way to dive and whack the puck backwards. Bogosian gets it at the point. He's surveying the scene. Who should I give it to? Oh, why not the guy who just gave it to me? To me, this is another example of the Jets forwards letting him down defensively. Look at this. Bogosian with the puck. All right, what should I do? What should I do? Oh, why don't I give it to Mitch, who Kyle Connor forgot existed? How did you forget he just had it? Marner coming in on Logan Stanley. Oh, no. Where are you going? You're lost. Go Leafs. New definition of splitting the D. Man, props to Logan Stanley for trying. A big guy should not be able to do that. Dropping down, doing a perfect split. He's still at least the same height as everybody else. Anyway, after that, Martin Matthews hits his 96th post in the last week. With Zachary on the attackery on the rebound. Makes it 2-0, and oh, it's a review. Fun! So, this is where Jets fans get salty, and I don't blame them. I don't know. Can anyone? Because Winnipeg Jets head coach Paul Maurice, who used to be Leafs head coach, did you know that? Did you know that? It never gets brought up. He challenges for goalie interference, and you watching, sir, you, madam, does anybody know what goalie interference is? And like, you look at the overhead, I mean, I would have thought this was coming back. I don't think what Hyman did was egregious at all. I think a lot of cases of goalie interference are like accidental, right? But that being said, this is the overhead from right before he whacks the puck into the net. And like, it's not a great visual, man. Here's what I'm thinking their thinking was. And I've ranted about this on a few goals that came back for the Leafs. Actually, you'll all remember the Matthews point, the famous point in that Colorado game? Can't remember who was in net. I want to say it was Jonathan Bernier. Because what I was focused on in that play, Matthews barely touched him, but he still touched him. Bernier had no idea where the puck was. So to me, it's goalie interference if you're impeding the goalie's ability to stop the puck. But what if the goalie has no idea where it is? And to me, Connor Hellebuyck has no idea where this is. For all he knows, it's in the net. All he heard was the post. That's my dumb watching from the couch explanation. Here's what I think is the more likely explanation. Because I saw Zach Hyman push Tucker Poolman into Connor Hellebuyck. Hyman definitely pushes Poolman into the blue paint, but their battle begins with this. I'm not totally sure what Poolman's doing here, but one of his skates is in the blue. Both of Hyman's feet are in the white. There's not a molecule of blue or red paint under his skates right now. Now, Hyman does end up in the blue paint, but Hellebuyck kind of bends his right pad. He does make contact, but I don't know if Zach Hyman were not there, would Hellebuyck have made the save? I don't know, man. This goal could have gone either way, and it went the Leafs' way, and now not only do they have a 2-0 lead, but the Jets also have a penalty to kill. Lucky for them, it's against the Leafs, though. Man, this power play. I know the Leafs are, 4-0-1 over their last 5 games. This power play stinks! And so they don't score on that one. The Jets kill it off. And then Blake Wheeler puts it over the glass. How many gifts are you going to throw away? Well, the answer is at least one more because they don't score on that one either. And then the Leafs have a 3-0 penalty advantage. And, well, you know which way this is going to go. Engvall high sticks Blake Wheeler. And it was a high stick. And now the Leafs got to go to the penalty kill. And they do kill it. And they do take a 2-0 lead into the second. But they're going to have to kill 2 more. You know this, right? Second period. Jake Muzzin slashing on Nikolai Ehlers. Now, I know that makeup calls are all the rave right now, and everyone's just, we all got it under a microscope, and the Leafs have a 3-0 penalty advantage, and you watch, it's going to evaporate. Hilariously, that's exactly what happened, but, the high stick from Engvall was a high stick, and the slash from Muzzin, what was he trying to do? But luckily, the Leafs killed that too. All right. Nobody do anything. TJ Brody, who has had amazing stick work this season, not so much here, demolishes Paul Stastny, knocks out a tooth even, and now it's a double minor. The Jets have a golden opportunity to get back in this game. So now they got 4 minutes to kill. They're doing an okay job. They try to clear it, but the Jets hold the zone, specifically Josh Morrissey. But even without goalie pads on, sometimes there's a rebound. And Alexander Kerfoot says, meep, meep. Ilya Mikheyev with the smart play. He could have taken this and tried to beat Morrissey himself, but he whacks it loose to Kerfoot, who gets his own breakaway. Underrated part of this goal, the puck is actually rolling on him. Like he's going full speed in a shorthanded foot race. He crosses the blue line, and this is what he has to deal with. But he gets it to settle down, kind of slices it, and he roofs it over Connor Hellebuyck. Alexander Kerfoot, I just hit the ring light, with a shorthanded goal, and the Leafs are up 3-0. This guy, man, he 12 minutes of ice time, I know. Kind of, sort of, sometimes the fourth line center, I know. And kind of makes a little bit too much against the cap on a cap-strapped team for a guy in that role. I know. But unless you're getting 1 or 2 guys who are really special, and you're probably going to need at least 1 penalty killer in there, I think that's an off-season move because as it stands right now, unless you get an upgrade, and I mean a real upgrade, I think the Leafs have a better shot at playoff success with Kerfoot on their team. Now, unfortunately, the Leafs still have a penalty to kill. That's no fun. What? Can you imagine if shorthanded goals got rid of it? Yeah, well, they don't. Now the Jets try to continue their power play. They're doing a good job moving the puck down low, and that leaves a wide open point for Josh Morrissey. Now Morgan Rielly's just kind of caught between a rock and a hard place because he's got a guy in front with Paul Stastny, but if he goes to him, he sort of leaves the bomb there on the other side wide open. Morrissey with the wide open shot, and that is an amazingly placed shot because of Stastny, Campbell never sees it, and the Jets get on the board, and with only seconds remaining in the first half of the double minor. So now it's 3-1, but you did get the shorthanded goal. So there's only about 3 minutes left in the second period. If the Leafs can kill this, they're in really good shape. And they do. They find a way, they kill the penalty, and they head to second intermission with a 3-1 lead. And the only message here has got to be stay out of the box because the shots were 16-7 for the Jets in the second period. And that's exactly what the Leafs did. Only a few minutes in, Matthew Perreault gets called for hooking on Alex Galchenyuk, who had another great game but had difficulty getting on the score sheet. I thought Perreault arguing with the ref was hilarious because he's going like this because he does not have a hockey stick in his hands. Come on, man, I didn't hook him. My hands just got tired. Leafs don't convert on that because, I mean, of course they didn't. But for the rest of the period, dude, shots were only 5-5. That's it. And if I'm Sheldon Keefe, if I'm the rest of the coaching staff, if I'm the rest of the management, I'm like, oh, that's the good stuff. Nice, boring, low-event hockey in a game where you have a multi-goal lead. Mwah! And the Leafs come away with the 3-1 win in a nice and boring third period, and Jack Campbell improves to 7-0. Before we get to questions, it seemed to be a topic that was talked about a lot on Leafs Twitter. Travis Dermott, barely playing in the second half of the game, only got like 8 minutes of ice time. At the time I'm recording this, we haven't gotten an update on anything. Like, I don't think he was injured. And this isn't a criticism of Travis Dermott or even Zach Bogosian, who didn't exactly play a ton in this game. If they're gonna have third periods like that, it's the right call. Muzzin and Hall played 25 minutes in this one. That's a lot of ice, and you're not going to want to do it every game, but it worked. So, questions. How about them Sabres? Okay, I didn't call them winning 6-1, but Sabres fans deserve it, darn it. And, you know, I don't know, this is probably going to sound ridiculous, but I think when you lose that often and the way the Sabres were, it just becomes another day that ends in Y. Blowing that 3-0 lead against Philadelphia, I think that like jarred their brains. And everyone in that room who are elite hockey players, like they have been their entire lives, are like, wait a sec, what are we doing? And you watch the outcome of the next game, it's almost like it flicked a switch. Like, you listen to Brandon Montour's comments. He's like, wait, all of us are in the NHL. Like, what happened? And worth mentioning, Linus Ullmark, 6-5-3. That is above Bettman 500 anyway. A reminder, we're talking about the Sabres. I don't know if Kevin Adams could get enough for that guy. You lock him down. You try to sign him before the deadline. But enough breaking that down. Any Sabres fans who happen to be watching this, you deserve it. Now back to the Leafs. Does Jack Campbell's record in net count yet, or does he need to play an extended stint to be considered a starter? Still like Freddie, though. Just wondering how good Jack looks so far. Jack looks great. Listen, he's played 7 games and he's won all of them. And he's looked good in all of them, except maybe the last one, but like I thought that was weird circumstances. Dude, he's the starter. Like, you run with him. When Freddie is 100% back to health, I think you still go 50-50. I just worry about his ability to be a consistent starter because he hasn't been, and it's not like we don't have injury concerns with him too. If he was totally healthy, I'd be like, sure, let him run with it. But like, the Leafs are probably still gonna need starts out of like Michael Hutchinson and Veini Vevalainen going down the stretch here. And lastly, this one made me laugh. Should we be glad Matthews didn't embarrass Appleton? So we've seen Matthews a few times sort of get into these like mini scuffles with guys, and he just sort of smiles and goes like, people forget this guy's like 6'2", 220, and I know that like being big isn't everything, but like he could probably beat some guys in the NHL up. However, do you want Austin Matthews' first NHL fight to be in a game where his team is winning in a season where he's been dealing with wrist injuries and against Mason Appleton. No, none of that makes sense. And it was after the whistle. Matthews didn't even do anything. It was just Appleton trying to get a rise out of him, trying to start something for his team. I don't even blame Appleton for it. There's no universe where taking that fight makes any sense. And it kind of reminds me of a very long time ago when I was just starting out blogging and I got to cover the Marlies. And Greg Gilbert was the Marlies head coach, and he was so hot after the game, so mad. He dropped a couple F-bombs. He was so mad because someone tried to fight Daryl Boyce, and Daryl Boyce wouldn't fight him. And Daryl Boyce was not afraid to fight, and I guess he was getting chirped for it. But at the time, Boyce was battling a hand injury, so Gilbert basically goes, why the F would he fight? So I do believe Matthews could beat up an NHL player in a fight, but should he? No. The league's leading goal scorer out of the lineup for like 2 months because he fought Mason Appleton. Can you imagine? So that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends that you love them. Text them. Call them. Email. Like a weirdo. Why would you do... No, text or call them.